Welcome back to the Horror Academic Daily Reviews, and today is a classic of sorts, Bay of Blood by Mario Bava, also known as Carnage, also known as Bloodbath, also known as Twitch of the Death Nerve. So, this is a movie I had read about for forever. I mean, since I started following horror when I was a teenager, I started hearing about this one. Infamously, there are scenes, or deaths, I should say, from the Friday the 13th films, particularly the second one, that are straight out of this movie. I kind of remember Cunningham saying he was not influenced by Bava when he made the movie, but I don't know if that's for real. And not to mention, part two, he didn't direct, he just produced. So Steve Miner may have seen the movie and been, even indirectly influenced, or his effects crew, who knows. So I know this was 1971, and Friday the 13th was 1980. So it could have been through osmosis. It could have been through seeing trailers. It could have been from other people on the crew having seen this film that the comparison comes from. But I guess having heard that so much, I was a little surprised to see that it was not a movie about a bunch of teenagers. But and I know I'm going to get crap for this, and I know there's fans out there, they're going to be like, really? You didn't like it? But I didn't like it. I didn't see the point. Yeah, there's a lot of clever kills, and the effects are really well done. I mean, most of the kills look real. I mean, that's most, not all. But it's just it's like a movie where just everybody dies. Nope, I'm sorry. Spoiler from a movie from 1971 that if you hadn't seen, you probably aren't going to see. It's just like a collection of ways to kill people, I guess. It's not like, Faces of Death or something like that, but I guess it's playing off of I know I've mentioned this before, but most thrillers I feel are based off this kind of Agatha Christie, 10 Little Indians, and then there were none, that kind of concept of everyone systematically dying, ruling themselves out as being the killer. And that's kind of the formula that I think they're messing around with here. And okay, all right, so the movie starts with an older woman in a wheelchair, being killed. And for some reason, people think it's a suicide. Well, no, because a suicide note is planted at the site. People think it's a suicide. But this was the thing that got me, is like, it's not like, yeah, you see her being killed by a set of hands and gloves. So it's like, oh, we're setting up a giallo. And this is mentioned on the back of the box as being like the giallo. But it's not, because then it pulls back and you see the person that killed her. And I'm like, no, wait, gallows are mysteries. And there's no mystery if you just told me who killed her. But, okay. But then, yeah, I don't know how much I want to tell you. Well, this is like the first 10 minutes of the movie. He gets killed too. So, he's not going to be the killer for the rest of the film. So I guess that's kind of like the big shock is, okay, you think you're sitting down for a traditional giallo, and, they're going to, the gloved killer is going to come after everybody, but we're going to kill the gloved killer. And I guess that's their scream, or the Psycho kind of thing, where we're going to mess with your expectations really early in the film, before even the title sequence, I think. So basically, this woman's dead. She owned this massive property that is by the bay, which is why it's Bay of Blood. And I guess it's her family lawyer, I believe, that's called in to deal with the will and all that. At the same time, there's a couple of other houses in the area, with some rather eccentric folks who live there. And then there's this band of teenagers who show up in a dune buggy. 1970s. And they're listening to their rock and roll off a tinny little radio, and having these little dance party kind of thing in this abandoned resort space. And then they break into someone's home to have sex. And I'm just like, this does not look like an abandoned home you've just broken into. And very well furnished and expensively laid out. So someone still lives here. What the hell are you doing? And you get whatever happens to you. I'm sorry. Like, you broke into somebody's house. But anyway, I digress. So, Right. So this is kind of the story bases around this group of folks. So the people who live there and this wandering group of kids who just wander into it that honestly, if they had stopped anyplace else on the way to wherever the hell they were going, they would have been better off. But, so, and I mean, yeah, there's other things you could see are a little Friday 13th-esque. Like one of the girls in the teenagers is, I believe she's German, because she's kind of the foreign girl. And, she's a bit of a free spirit, and she goes skinny dipping by herself, and that's a motif in the Friday 13th films. I mean, they're movies with water, and, exploitation filmmakers are just looking for a way to get chicks to take off their clothes anyway, so it's convenient. I don't know if I'm going to say that that's totally an influence on Friday the 13th. But, yeah, I mean, you can see it's that kind of, what they call it, a cavalcade of death, is what these movies are about. I think Friday the 13th is a little bit more, I hesitate to use the word endearing. I have more fun watching Friday the 13th. This was just kind of drawn out and boring. I was like, for an 84-minute movie, I was like, what's going on and do I care? I don't know. But I will preface all of this by saying I am traditionally not a fan of Mario Bava. I find his films to be slow. I know it's blasphemy. I totally hear you from across the internets, but not a big fan of his stuff. I think Black Sunday I thought was pretty good. Black Sabbath I kind of liked, but I like anthology horror, so that's why. I haven't really dug too much the other Bavas that I've seen. Lamberto Bava I'm a fan of, but Papa Bava not so much. I know he's the guy who invented a lot of this type of stuff, and I understand that, but I think people did it much better after. Particularly, I think Argento took up the mantle very quickly and far surpassed what Bava had done. He is the godfather of Italian horror, I know. But oddly enough, I prefer a Fulci film to a Bava film. Perhaps that's my generational aspect of it, of coming into it when Fulci's films were very popular, and seeing like Zombie and Gates of Hell and The Beyond. Those films to me are icons of horror. Those films far surpass most of his catalog. I know, but except for I do have a thing. I do really like some of Fulci's giallos too, like Woman in a Lizard Skin. I like that one a lot. Very stylized. It's practically an Argento film. But yeah, Mario Bava, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know how much I'm gonna rewatch this one, but it is a nice little Arrow collection, and there was a neat little short documentary, like a 10-minute interview with Joe Dante talking about seeing Bava films in grindhouse theaters and how they would just keep releasing them with other titles and they would keep cutting them up and putting them back up, and the prints were like absolute crap the third time around. But it was a neat little story of what it was like in the grindhouse days before video was a way to see movies. And there is a neat little thing where Edgar Wright commentates two versions of the trailer for the same movie, which is fun. And I like Edgar Wright, so anytime to hear him talk about horror movies he loves is cool. So yeah, this Bay of Blood, aka Carnage, aka Bloodbath, aka Twitch of the Death Nerve. Tight. Sorry guys, I don't always love them, and I don't always agree with everybody else, so it's how it is. I hope you enjoy these anyway, even if you don't agree with me. So tomorrow I'll watch another movie, and maybe I'll like it more. See you guys later. Bye.